Welcome to another Tuesday. I'm really excited to be able to share today. I'm home today. Last week I was at City Hall, and that was quite heavy. But at the same time, it was really beautiful to see everyone sharing their stories and just what's happened to them, and also it gave you hope. It shows us that we're all really resilient, no matter what we're going through. As long as we come together as a community and we share those stories, we can actually see change happen. So I'm really optimistic, but kind of like cautiously optimistic at the same time for the changes that I hope to see in Calgary within the next few years. Calgary, of course, is Mohkinstsis, and Mohkinstsis is always flowing. It's always moving forward, and it's really about that refreshing and letting go of those old ways and coming back to a new way of honoring and respecting each other, of knowing what the treaties were meant for and what they were written for, which was to bring people together to build community in a meaningful way. And we can't do that when we have that separation and that segregation. We can't do that when people are hurting, but we also can't do that when people are shutting down. So I think it's really important to help people become more open and have those conversations with people who might be shut down when the topic of racism or discrimination or anything like that comes up, because I think it's really, really important that we have those open dialogues and open lines of communication, just because we're all in this together. It's important to understand each other and build community together, but also sometimes the easiest way to build those bridges is to find that common ground and realize that we're all here, we're all together, and we're all family. So that being said, I just always like to start by acknowledging the land upon which we stand, because if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going. So this is the home of the Treaty 7 people. This is Mohkinstsis, which means elbow in Blackfoot. And it's where the Bow River and the Elbow River come together. That's that strength, that confluence, that building, and that flow together. So I honor the Blackfoot of Siksika, Kainai, and Pagani. This is their home. This is their place. This is where they have been raising their families for generations upon generations. And it's a blessing to be here. I acknowledge the Tsutsuna, and they have been here as well. They have such connection. They're considered the beaver people. And whenever I used to pick my medicines out there, I always remember spending the time with the beavers. There's such strength and such power in the waters that run through there, and this is why it's really important to protect them. I also acknowledge the Stoney Nakoda from Morley, which includes Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. I've taught up there, and it's such a wonderful thing. Like, the kids are just so incredible and so beautiful and so independent and just so full of life. And I love being out there. There's something really powerful about being up close to the mountains and just the animals that are out there and the birds that are out there. I go sweat out there quite often, right close to Stony, and it's just that deep connection that I can feel when I'm out there, and when many people can feel when they're out there. Even as you're driving through on your way to Banff, there's something that just kind of pulls you to this land because of the history there, because of the families that have been here for so long. And so I acknowledge all of those families. I, of course, also acknowledge Métis Region 3, which is why I proudly wear my Métis sash to act as that bridge between Indigenous and non-Indigenous culture. This sash that I'm wearing today actually was gifted to me from a Siksika elder, my elder Kelly Goodiko. And I was really thankful for all the teachings, and when he gifted me this, it was funny. It's funny to get gifted a Métis sash from a Blackfoot man, but it was powerful. Because any gift is powerful. Every gift that we receive, we have to be so thankful for, because it's a Creator's way of saying, you're on the right path. When you're doing these things, when you're doing good work, more things come to you. And it's not really about that expectation, but it's being open to whatever the universe brings to you. And that can be people, that can be, feathers as we're walking around, that could be medicines that just decide to grow randomly in your garden. I didn't even know we had lilies, tiger lilies, until they just randomly started to grow in the garden. And I was so thankful, because it reminds me a lot of my childhood. I remember we would go driving to Saskatchewan to go to my reserve, and there would be tons and tons of tiger lilies in in all of the ditches driving out there and sage. So it was like that smell at that pop of color and then that smell of sage that really reminded me of when I was really, really young. And it was just such a blessing to be able to see that, to remind me to keep curious and be thankful for all of the gifts that come my way. And so, just to welcome everybody to the circle in a good way, I would like to share, of course, the Cree welcome song. Traditionally, when we sing songs, we sing in rounds of 4 to honor the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. But this song is a little different. We sing it in rounds of 3, and that's to keep the circle open and welcoming so everyone completes the circle today. Because in a circle, we're all connected. There's no beginning, there's no end. No one is greater or less than anyone else in the circle, just like in the hoop of life. So it teaches us to honor each other for those differences. And sometimes it's really difficult to see eye to eye, but what really makes our community strong and resilient is when we can come together and build those compromises, build those relationships, and repair those misunderstandings. And so this song is so important to really honor the spirit of that. This song is Cree. It's from the Nataha family from Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation. And I thank them very much for keeping this song alive, for keeping the integrity of this song alive, because it's such a grounding song and it welcomes people, it brings people in, and it draws us together in a beautiful way. And so I'm very, very thankful to be able to share it. And I'm sure it's changed hands in it when you have a song, you kind of create something and you add your own piece to it. And so I know that songs aren't really owned. They come from places, and so you have to acknowledge the places that they come from. But nobody truly owns that. It's not like you can copyright tradition. So, but I'm very, very thankful, and I acknowledge that this has been shared in a good way and passed along. And so, Miasin, which is the Cree welcome song, it doesn't just mean welcome; it also means beautiful. So I'm going to stand up to sing so I can actually. Miasin, Miasin, Hasemina, Hasemina, Epetakute, Wagomaga, Wota, Woma, Kitaskino, Miasin, Miasin, Hasemina, Hasemina, Epetakute, Wagomaga, Wota, Woma, Kitaskino, Miasin, Miasin, Hasemina, Hasemina, Epetakute, Wagomaga, Wota, Woma, Kitaskino. Hi, and welcome to the circle today, everybody. I'm really, really thankful to be able to share all of these songs and stories, and for the technology that we have to be able to share those things in a good way. And so it's really neat to be able to virtually smudge with everybody as well. So I have, of course, all my smudge stuff behind me that I'm going to talk a little bit about. I lay out all of my medicines. All 4 of my medicines are laid out. There are many, many different medicines depending on your teachings, and they might be in different directions depending on your teachings. And so when I share, I can only share what I know. And so if it makes sense to you, awesome. If it doesn't, that's cool too. It's not about, when we share our teachings, it's not about right or wrong. It's just different. So many people are going to have different experiences. So it's really about allowing people to find their own path and just sharing without judgment, without expectation, and just that's really what wisdom is. It's to be able to share and distribute it without expecting anything back, because knowing that Creator handles that. And so that being said, I have laid out my medicines, and I lay them in Anishinaabe and Cree style. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about them before we smudge. So the first, I always start in the east, and that's with Grandfather Sun. He rises in the east. That's that strength of fire, because of course Grandfather Sun's a big ball of fire. It's that masculine energy, because we're a balance of masculine and feminine. And it also honors our mind and our childhood, because when we're kids, we actually learn more than we're ever going to learn in our whole lives. And so sweetgrass is our medicine there. And it smells so good. I love the smell of sweetgrass. And sweetgrass reminds us to make good decisions. It helps us to think clearly. It's really good for Alzheimer's. It's really good for stress or anxiety, for mental trauma as well. It's really good for cleansing and clearing all of that away. And it's also good for just calming you down, which is awesome. And so in it, we have a braid, which is, it honors, those three aspects of being. So it honors our past, our 7 generations past. So whenever we make decisions, we have to weigh how is it going to affect all of our generations. So what are my ancestors thinking of me now? Can you imagine 7 generations ago, they were thinking of this time and they were praying for us. And so it's about honoring those ancestors. It's about honoring the teachings that they've left for us. It's about honoring all of the struggles that they've had to go through, all of those things that they've had to endure, everything that led us to this moment. And are we making decisions to honor and respect all of those things that have happened before us? And then it teaches us to honor those 7 generations forward. What are we doing to leave a lasting legacy for those future generations? After I'm long gone, those generations are going to be in place. And are the decisions that I'm making today going to honor and respect them and leave a better world for them? And then, of course, we have that other strand, which is us. It reminds us that we are those generations. We are that hope, but we're also, that base. We're that launching off point for those future generations. It reminds us to respect ourselves and the 7 teachings. And so every strand has 7 teachings, has 7 blades within it that are woven together in the 3. And so I was also told by an elder that it represents the settlers, so everybody who's moved here. It represents the First Nations people that were here before, but it also represents Creator. He binds us all together. And so there's a reason that we're all drawn together. There's a reason that we're in these times together. And so it teaches us about honoring and respecting that relationship that we have, because this is the relationship treaty. And so, yeah. It also reminds us of children. Children, their minds are always growing and always thriving. And so it's really about honoring and respecting our children, because we have so much to learn from them, just like we have so much to teach them. So it's a blessing to be able to work with kids. I really miss that. I think more than anything, I really enjoy working with kids, because they have the best questions and they have such incredible thirst and hunger for knowledge that they have no judgment. They will tell you exactly what they're thinking in any given moment. And when do we stop doing that? When do we stop being so brutally and beautifully honest? I really miss that. That was the great thing about teaching. But I'm very fortunate that I get to teach a little bit next week. I'm going to be teaching rattlesnakes, so I'm very, very thankful for that. Yeah. The next medicine that we have when we go to the south is, because we always follow the sun, and that's in Cree culture, we always follow the sun. Same with Anishinaabe, we follow the sun. But in Mohawk, they go the opposite way. And so it's not right or wrong, it's just different. So a friend of mine, she's Mohawk, and she comes sometimes to Cree ceremony, or the Anishinaabe ceremony. She's like, you guys are going the wrong way. And I sat with her in our ceremony one time, and I'm like, you guys are inviting in the contrary grandmothers. Things are going to get crazy. And so, like I said, not right or wrong, just different. But the next medicine that we have in the south is cedar. Cedar is amazing. It's antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. It has an antihistamine, so if you're a little stiffly sneezy, have some cedar. It also has a numbing agent. So I was like eaten alive by mosquitoes. I boiled some, threw it in my bath, and yeah, it healed up my mosquito bites really, really fast, so it wasn't itchy anymore. I'm probably gonna have to do that. They're really bad this year, so I'm definitely gonna have to do that soon. So this is Peter, and it teaches us about the connection that we have to Mother Earth, the path that has led us here on Mother Earth, and really honoring the relationship that we have to our own physical bodies, to each other, and also to the plants and the animals. When we say all my relations, that's everybody. It's everybody in the circle. And it's very short-sighted to think it's only us, the two-leggeds, because we're actually here to learn from the four-leggeds and the crawlers and the standing people, which are the trees, and the flying people. So we're here to learn from them. And so it's humbling when we start to realize all that we can learn from those. In the phase of our life there is our adolescence, because when we're in our adolescence, we actually grow physically the most than we will in our whole lives. And adolescence isn't just the 2 or 3 years of puberty, it's the time it takes us to transition from childhood to adulthood. So in Cree, it's about from the age of 12 up until between 22 to 24, which I love it when science proves things we've done for thousands of years. Makes me look real smart. But that's when our physical bodies and our brains actually stop developing. So beautiful thing. Then we're going to move to the West. And in the West, we have sage, which is the women's medicine. So it's all about balance. We have grandfather sun in the East. We have grandmother moon in the West. There's where they balance. Grandmother moon's a reflection of grandfather sun, but she also controls the tide. So it's attached to water. Grandfather sun's fire, grandmother moon is water. And so she pushes the tides in and out. It was said that all her love is what pushed the tides in and out and began the world to start spinning as grandfather sun and grandmother moon were pulling back and forth, back and forth. Sage is universal. It grows everywhere on the planet, like everywhere on the planet. So it's related to the ferns, it's related to grasses, but it's also related to certain kinds of flowering, like grasses. It's really awesome, but it even grows in Antarctica. Who knew? So, but there's so many different varieties of sage around the world. It's what's in your own backyard and how can you use those medicines in a good way. Sage is our heart medicine because our emotions are liquid. But it reminds us that it's not a weakness, it's a strength. Because without our heart medicine, we wouldn't have strong families or relationships or friendships, and we wouldn't even be here. So it teaches us about that sacrifice, and sometimes, sometimes we need to let those tears flow to be able to heal in a good way. And it teaches us to really honor our tears. And so that sage, I'm really thankful because this sage is from Bailey, who's an incredible dancer, and this sage is from my friend Talisha. She came to my son's birthday party, and I got her present too. I was so thankful and so humbled. And it smells so good. Both of them smell so good. And it's funny because when you pick sage, the smell changes. And so this is quite fresh, so it has more of a minty smell to it. And this is, it was picked kind of just at the end of the season, so it has almost like a more earthier, darker smell to it. It's beautiful, and how the sage will change depending on what time of year it is, just like we will. And so that's about our emotions, honoring our heart medicine. I'm just being thankful for what we have. It's our adulthood, because that's when we become parents or aunts and uncles or mentors. That's when we learn how to give back to the community. We've developed our being through the childhood and our adolescence, and now it's our opportunity to give back in a meaningful way. And so we'll only be smudging with sage today, just because it is the women's medicine. And that doesn't mean we're not going to smudge with different kinds of medicines depending on what we're doing. There's been times when I use 2 medicines, so I'll use the sage and the sweetgrass. Sometimes I'll use all 4 medicines, but today we're just using sage. And then the last medicine that we have is tobacco. So we go to the north, and that's tobacco. In the north, that's where we have the winter. It's where our elderly years are, but it's also our connection to Creator. It connects us to the air. And so the air, we breathe, so we know it exists, but you can't necessarily see it. So it's really about honoring faith and honoring that connection to Creator, and knowing that our spirit is part of us. It's part of our being. Our connection to Creator is part of us. And so it teaches us not to take those things for granted, but to really honor them in a good way. And so when we give tobacco to someone, it's saying thank you from our spirit to their spirit. When we receive tobacco, it's such a beautiful gift because it means that person's giving it from their spirit to us. And when we have like drummers or singers or storytellers or elders, when we gift them tobacco, that's a sacred gift. It's saying thank you for keeping those songs and those stories and those teachings alive, and that's what we need to honor. And of course, when we gift it to the earth, because we don't want to just take those medicines and take and take and take. We always want to give something back to the earth. And the stuff that teaches us to always leave the roots of the plant in the ground so it has a chance to grow back, and also to leave families in the ground so that they can stay together. But with tobacco, we always give something back. And it's high in phosphorus and potassium and nitrogen, so it helps plants grow back faster. Super awesome. And so I'm very, very thankful. This was gifted to me by a school, and I'm very thankful to have it. And so, that being said, I'm going to pull this over here. Yeah. So I've already kind of pre-assembled one of my sage balls. I'm going to actually add a little bit more. So I have it. Oops. Awesome. And teaching, when we pull the leaves off the stem, it holds our energy, it holds our intention. So when we gift it to people, we leave it on the stem just so they can decide what they're going to do with it. And that's just a free teaching. There's Blackfoot teachings that say take the leaves off and then gift it, but those are their teachings. And so everybody is entitled to their own teachings, and everybody has different meanings behind those teachings. And so it's really beautiful to be able to learn those things and see how it can enrich our own understanding. And there we go. There's some sage. And a quick thing. So I'm going to take off my earrings because metal holds energy, and we want to make sure that we're plain and we're not hanging on to any energy that's not serving us. When we smudge, it's our way to pray, it's our way to let things go, it's our way to just say thank you, to create, it's our way to just balance everything around us. It's great for just neutralizing, getting rid of energy, but also from a scientific perspective, because science is awesome, it cleans the air. It gets rid of any airborne toxic viruses, bacteria, fungus. It cleans the air, which is great. But it also pH balances the air, and it ionizes the air. So the air is actually healthier to breathe. My house is very healthy. Okay. Also, I tend to only use matches, or if we have embers from a fire, I tend to use that because you want to keep it as natural as possible. If you are desperate and you have nothing else on you, a lighter works in a pinch, but definitely aim for those more natural things. I always have a stacked car full of lighters, just because. And so, yeah, we'll light it. I'm just going to show that. So all four directions are in the smudge bowl. The bowl itself is water. It's a shell, and it holds everything. So like our mother holds us inside her, it holds all the medicines. No matter what we put in the bowl, it represents earth, because all of those medicines come from the earth. When we light it on fire, it represents fire. And the smoke going up to Creator represents air. Because that's our prayers going up to Creator. That's what we need, our intentions. And so when we say pray or prayers, there's no right or wrong way to pray. There's no right or wrong way to ask for those things that you need. What it is, it's setting intentions, making those wishes. And so some people are uncomfortable with the term pray, and that's okay. It's about acknowledging and being thankful and asking for those things that you need. And it doesn't really matter who you pray to. It could be God or Creator or Allah or Buddha or the big spaghetti monster in the sky, whoever. But it's more the intention that you put into it. And so it's not about judgment. It's just about honoring where we're at and how we're all together. So that being said, I'm actually going to put it down here so I can sign. Listen, the first thing I do is I clean my hands. So anything that I'm carrying, I get rid of. I bring it over my body 4 times so I can honor the 4 directions that are within my body. I smudge my mind so I can think clearly, and I can learn from every person and everything that crosses my path. But also I can be open-minded and flexible with my thoughts and good with my thoughts. Smudge my ears so I can be open to hear all of the messages Creator sends me. I'm very thankful for my hearing this lifetime, but also so I can hear all of the good around. Smudge my eyes so I can be open to see all of the beauty that surrounds me. Very thankful for my vision this lifetime, and also so I can see all of the good that I do and people do around me. I smudge my nose so I can smell danger and cookies. And I made a really good dinner, so I can smell that right now. It's amazing. Yeah, it's good. I smudge my mouth so I can speak only true and kind words that are helpful and generous. I always say, is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Is it respectful? If it's none of those things, don't say it, don't do it. So I smudge my lips and my mouth so I can do that. I smudge my throat because I'm very thankful for my voice this lifetime, so I can sing, but also so I can give voice to the voiceless as an activist, as someone with a loud voice. I'm very thankful for that gift. Smudge my lungs so I breathe good, clean air. Smudge my stomach so all of the food that I eat this day will nourish my body. I'm very excited to eat my food. I smudge my heart so I can remember to be kind and compassionate and show unconditional love always around me, but also to myself. Sometimes we have to be gentle with ourselves and we forget. After all, we're back. Smudge my stomach so I can remember and be thankful for all the food that I eat this day. I smudge my womanhood because I'm very thankful to be a woman and a mother in this time. I smudge my shoulders and my back so I can remember and honor all the responsibilities that I have and remember to carry them with grace and humility. And I'm very thankful for those things that I carry. I smudge my arms and my hands so I can do the good work that Creator's put me here to do. Oh, and I smudge my legs so I can walk this red road in a good way. Oh, and I smudge my feet so I stay grounded and connected to Mother Earth, treading lightly upon her, honoring her with every step as she guides me on my path. And then if there's anywhere else that needs a little extra love, so I have a little bit of a sore back, so I'm going to smudge that. And my hips, which are always sore because of my hip surgeries, so I smudge those. And then, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good actually. But if there's anybody in your life that you want to send love and appreciation to them, and healing to them, and just if they're in your thoughts and they're in your prayers, so I have many friends that are in my thoughts and prayers. I'm holding them there. But also my cookum, I haven't seen her in a while. It's grandmother, King Cream. That's her. So I was thinking about her a lot today. So I'm going to send her that love. And my great aunt. It was her birthday, and so I'll probably be sharing a lot of songs, specifically her favorite songs, and honoring her. Awesome. I'm going to put this off to the side. So, kids, if you choose to smudge, it's over there. It's over there. So, but it was my great aunt's birthday. She just turned 86. That was pretty exciting. But it's really strange living in these times because normally we would be there with her, we'd be giving her gifts, we'd be, sharing songs and, laughing together and talking together. But because COVID, she is in a nursing home, and she needs a lot of help because her health is failing. So we had to sing and drum while we were on the sidewalk across from the home. She could see us from the windows, and she put us on speakerphone. And it was funny because all of the elders started coming to the windows and watching us drum and sing, and they were like, yay! It was really quite cute. But I missed her. I wanted to give her a big hug, and I haven't really been able to do that in the last several months, so I missed that. But I just wanted to send her my love and appreciation. And one of the songs that's her favorite, and it actually, it was really amazing. I'm really thankful to one of my friends who shared this song with me, Elizabeth Potskin. She had shared this song with me, that she had formed it. And when she shared it with me, it just kind of sat. And so it was really easy for me to learn. But I was singing and drumming it for my auntie one time, and she'd never heard it. Well, I had never shared it with her before, and she knew it. And she was singing with me, and it was incredible. It was really incredible that some of the songs that I think are new, or they're new to me, that have been shared with me, she knows, and it's really beautiful and really incredible to see, that history that runs through our lineage and our families, and it's in our blood, it's in our souls, it's in our hearts and our minds too. And so I think it's a gift to be able to share those things. So this song is the creator song, and it teaches us to really honor all of existence. I would say all my relations, which is all of the plants, all of the animals, even the bugs, even the mosquitoes. Sometimes I don't really like those relations, but they're important because they're part of a bigger connection. They're part of the circle. And so even though they might make us a little uncomfortable, there's a reason that they're there. And it reminds us of that. It reminds us to really honor and respect every moment as a gift and every relationship as a gift. And really everything that we learn as a gift. And it reminds us that, the reason we're here is because the Creator gave us all breath, gives all the living things breath. And so when we inhale, that's a sacred breath. That's a sacred breath that each and every one of us share. Even the trees, they breathe with us. They help us with that sacred breath. They maintain that sacred breath. And so it's important to honor and respect the relationship that we have with all of the standing people, the trees, and all of the plants. And I'm just reminded of that every day when I look at my window and I see so much green at this point, and including my garden, but also everywhere. It's beautiful. I get to see Nose Hill from my window, and I'm just so thankful every day to know that when I go and pick those medicines in a few weeks, because they're starting to grow really tall, that it's there and it's calling us. And so I'm very thankful. And the song reminds me of that. But the fact that my auntie was singing it, it was such a gift. And what was really incredible too, so my auntie has been struggling with her memory, but so sometimes when she's tired, she slips into Cree. And so this has really motivated me. I really want to learn my language. And I think it's important to learn your language and to understand where you've come from. Because again, if you don't know where you come from, then how do you know where you're going? And so when I sing this song, it's a reminder of that part, that slight part that's missing, that language part that's missing, because that's part of your relationship with language, because that's a relationship in of itself. And so yeah, this is the creator song. yo, way yo, hey yo, hey yo, way yo. Way yo, hey yo, way yo, way yo, hey yo, way yo. Way-oh, hey-oh, way-oh, way-oh, hey-oh, we-oh. So the little kind of thing that I do at the end there, it's not really a trill, but that's my voice. That's my voice coming out. So everybody has a voice. It's right in their tummy. It's right in their belly button. And it comes out sometimes when we're really happy, and it's our way of just being thankful, and it's our way of connecting to our spirit. Every spirit has a voice, and it has our way of coming to us. And so I wanted to actually share the Women's Honor Song, Anagaya. This isn't, sure. This isn't my song per se. Like I said, we don't really own songs. They follow and they share it with us. And so when I sing this song, it reminds us about honoring women. This is a song from Joan Henry. She's a Arapaho Cherokee. And so if you look up Joan Henry online, you can find she has some really, really amazing songs. This is one of the songs that just kind of resonated. And so it's a blessing to be able to share it in a good way. But I always acknowledge where it's come from, because that's really, you really, really need to. You always need to acknowledge things and where they've come from and how they've come to be. And I think with our society now, we forget that. We forget to acknowledge where these things are coming from. So, we go to the grocery store, but we forget where these things come from. And so now that I'm growing a garden, I say, well, these seeds came from this place. And as it's growing, I was like, well, you have an appreciation for how these things come into be. You watch them grow, you watch their spirits grow, and you know that that's going to nurture you and nourish you later in the year. And so I think sometimes we need to dial it back and really realize that and really respect that and honor that, because that's part of that relationship that we have. But this song is it's the Women's Honor Song. And so sometimes you hear a little bit of a pulse with it. Women tend to want a pulse with it. And it's the same thing when we're holding a baby. If we're trying to console it, there's that pulse, there's that pump that we tend to just do naturally, and it's just part of us. There's many different nations that actually incorporate that pulsing in ceremony. And so it's part of us. It's that's part of our core in our being, and it's a blessing to be able to share those things. And so this song honors women. It honors that strength of women, that women's ability to be able to sacrifice, but also to be able to give life and be life, but to draw community together in a good way. We all have different strengths, and we all have different things, but we need to honor each other in that process. And so this teaches us to really honor everyone around us. And so this is the Women's Honor Song, Anagaya. I'm going to have a little sip of water. It's a little dry today. It's very warm outside, but it's beautiful. Anagaya, wehawiya, wehanawe, wehawiya, wehawiya, Anagaya, wehawiya, wehanawe, wehawiya, we are, when away, away, when away, we are, when away, away, we are, we high, we high, we high, we are, we are, we are. We are away, we are, we are, we are, we are. So, first, I've been asked a lot to share a lot of women's songs, and that's good because I have a lot of them. But I'm gonna share the mother song. My auntie loves this song, and so we shared it with her, and she was just, I mean, you could see her in the window and holding her heart, and it was just such a beautiful thing to be able to share with her, and also, she kind of became a little bit of a star because, of course, everybody wanted to talk to her afterwards, like, oh, that was your family, they're really talented. So she felt kind of like a rock star on her birthday, so that was a good thing. But the mother song, it teaches us about not only motherhood, but that ability to take care of our families. And as we're raising children, sometimes our own, sometimes other people's children, sometimes as that aunt or an uncle or that parent, it's hard. It's hard being a parent because you want to make sure you don't mess up. You want to make sure you don't make mistakes. But of course, nobody's perfect, and it's really ridiculous to hold us to that perfection standard when there's no such thing as perfect. But it teaches us about that anguish sometimes as a parent. You want to pass those teachings down to your kid. You want to make sure that that child grows up so that they're taken care of. You want to keep them safe. You want to keep them strong. You want to make sure that they turn out to be everything that you hoped for yourself, but you want to kind of embody that in your own child. And sometimes when they do grow up and you're like, oh my God, they're totally turned out to be like me, sometimes in a good way. So then you're doing a good job if they turn out to be a good human. This song was actually shared with me. My friend Lacey had shared it with me. We actually exchanged songs. So I shared, I believe it was the healing song with her, and also the water song with her. And she shared this song with me. And sometimes people share songs with me and they just don't stick. I've been, especially Blackfoot songs, I have a really hard time remembering Blackfoot songs for some reason. Probably because it's just, it's not in my blood. So I got to learn. I got to work really hard to learn it. But she shared this song with me, and it was from her Anishinaabe elder. But in the song, you can hear that anguish of that parent, trying to nurture their child. And, as that child grows older, they get further and further and further away. So it's anguish of like, I want to give you everything. But at the same time, knowing that all you can do is give them your love. And so this is the mother song. And I sing it for all of those mothers. In a song, I do it two ways. Sometimes I do it the hopeful way, and sometimes I do it in the way that needs to be heard. And so it just depends on the situation. So in it, you can hear the child going further and further and further and further away. And so sometimes I will drop out and I'll get quieter and quieter and quieter for the child's part. But I think now it's really important to just have a hopeful feeling behind it. So I'm going to maintain the song itself. And so this is the mother song. I'm very thankful for this. Awesome. So sorry about the noise in the background. People are getting dinner. So that's kind of the issue with doing everything from home. Oh, Albertine, I'll send you a link afterwards. Cool. Just, I know there's a lot of songs that I share, but oh my gosh, that went really, really fast. So I'm going to share a couple more songs before I have to leave and hop on another call. But I'm just really, really thankful to be able to share in this medium, and I'm hoping to be able to share, figure out the whole YouTube thing. I don't know, kind of technology, yikes. I'll figure it out. But so I'm probably going to transfer from this platform over to YouTube soon, and going to be downloading all those videos. And then all of the videos will be in one spot, so you don't have to kind of keep scrolling through all of my stuff. Yeah, in the meantime, I just wanted to share a couple more women songs just because, my auntie's really front of mind right now, and I've been thinking a lot about my kokum as well, and just how strong those women are, just all of the stuff that they had to go through growing up, and, what we had to do to kind of hide our culture And now we can actually be able to like share it and be open with it, and be proud of where we come from and who we are. And it's a blessing to be in the time that we're in now, where I can share these things, where I can make drums and I can share my songs and stories, where I can make rattles and dream catchers and share the teachings behind them with not only Indigenous people, but with all people. Because I think it's really important that we come to a place of understanding, and how better to create understanding than through art and through spirit and through connection. And so I'm very humbled for that. And so I'm going to share the Strong Woman song. So this song was also known as the turtle song, because when we look at a turtle, it represents the woman. It has 13 moons on its back to represent 13 bumps on its back to represent the 13 moons in a year, and 28 ridges along the outside to represent the 28 days in a moon cycle. This is why our moon time is called our moon time. Our period is called our moon time. And I don't think, since I really understood and acknowledged why we are so connected to the moon, that I've actually called it anything but my moon time, unless I'm trying to explain it to someone. And so it reminds us like we're standing on Turtle Island, and she is everyone's mother. She has gifted us food. She has gifted us a place to stand. She has gifted us wisdom and knowledge, and she sustains all of the animals that share that wisdom and knowledge with us. And when we sing the Strong Woman song, it reminds us of that strength that we draw from the earth, that sustenance, that nurturing aspect. But it also reminds us to always give something back. I think as women, also as two-spirit people, we tend to give so much to community that sometimes we forget that we have to refill our own cup. And so it reminds us of that strength, and to be able to help each other fill up our cups. And really acknowledge that we need our relationships. We need that strength of community, and women draw together community. When women take up the drum, it's to lead their community in a meaningful way and to bring healing to their communities. And so this is why it's really important to carry a drum. And this is why I carry a drum, because that is my connection to community. That's my job, and that's what Creator's gifted me. And to not honor the gifts that Creator's given you, not only are you, taking something away from yourself, but you're taking something away from the community that you can give. And so it's really about honoring the strength of the women, but not just the women, but the men that stand beside us, not in front of us, not behind us, but beside us. Because it does take a really, really strong man to stand beside a strong woman. Trust me, I know. And single. But also for the two-spirit people who have maintained that, they're that balance of masculine and feminine. So they really have to maintain that strength for their community. They were the ones that would be looked to for that knowledge, for that wisdom. They were the ones that balanced things. They were the ones that carried traditions and teachings until it was meant to pass this on. And so I think it's really important to honor those ways of knowing, those ways of being. And I'm hoping to really learn a lot more. But unfortunately, with colonization, we weren't really allowed to learn a lot of that. But it's slowly but surely coming through us. And the two-spirit people, it comes through us. We have those teachings that are coming through us. We have those learnings that are coming through us. And we have that knowledge and that wisdom. And sometimes lost ceremonies come through, and sometimes lost songs come through. And it's really about acknowledging and understanding that it's because you're like this conduit for Creator. So the Strong Woman song, it honors that connection that we have to the moon, that connection that we have to Grandmother Earth, the connection that we have to our grandmothers that have brought us here, but also those future generations yet to be born. And so, this is the Strong Woman song, also known as the Turtle song. And when I drum it, I play with a heartbeat, just because that's the heartbeat that's within us. When we're in our mother's womb, that's the first sound that we hear is her heartbeat. And the second that we feel throughout our entire being is our own heartbeat. And Mother Earth has a pulse, she has a heartbeat. And it reminds us of that sacredness of the heartbeat, but that healing power that our heartbeat has, and that connection that we have. Everybody has a heartbeat and a pulse. All of the plants and animals even. Awesome. Not much time left, so I'm going to share the Women's Warrior song. And yeah, just wish everybody a really, really wonderful rest of your week. So the Women's Warrior song reminds us that everyone's a warrior in their own way. It's a warrior is someone who just stands up for what's right, stands up for the changes they want to see in the world. You know, they're the ones that take on the responsibilities that maybe not necessarily theirs, but they know that that's going to bring change to the world. When we sing it for a lot of the murdered and missing women and girls and Two-Spirit people, but all of the people who are missing, anyone who's hurting, so that they have that strength and they acknowledge their sacredness, because warriors are sacred. They're the ones not only that stand on the front lines, and stand up for what's right, but they're also the ones that, they're the quiet ones in the background. They're the ones that make sure that everyone is taken care of, that everyone's fed. The grandmothers traditionally would be the ones in our nations to be able to share the stories and to be able to maintain those teachings, but also to make sure that everybody was heard, everybody's voice was important, everybody's voice and knowledge was valued, from the smallest wee child to the oldest, wisest elder. Everyone has a say in our community because everyone is together in this. We're all together in this. And the Women's Warrior song reminds us of that. It reminds us of that gentle strength, because a gentle warrior is someone who just stands up and gives people the love that they need and the respect that they need and the honor that they need. And sometimes it's clearing space so someone has a voice. Sometimes it's knowing when to walk away from a situation. But sometimes it's just gently taking care of the people around you. Warriors within our community are the women who are striving for justice every single day for their family members or their friends or for other people's family members who need those answers, who need that justice, and who want just closure for a lot of the things that have happened within our communities and to those families. They're the ones that, the grandmothers who are raising their grandkids as their own, because their daughters are gone, their daughters have been murdered or have gone missing, and they're still looking for those answers. It's really about acknowledging, those family members who take on, or even maybe they're not family members, people who just take on that responsibility of, raising children. It's a hard job, and I'm in that position now, and I'm really, really thankful, and I'm really, really humbled that my girls have come into my life, and even though I didn't birth them, they're still my children, and I'm so, so thankful to have them in my life. And that's truly what a warrior is. It's someone who takes on those responsibilities and doesn't worry about, money or anything that's going to happen. Just knows that needs to be done. That's justice that needs to be filled. That's, the love that needs to be shared. And that's truly what makes a warrior. And so this is the Women's Warrior song. It's Salish from the West Coast. And so when I sing it, I honor those families that have kept this song alive and the strong women who the song honored them. I honor all of the women and Two-Spirit people who've gone missing on Hastings Street and many across Turtle Island. We all need justice. We need that warrior spirit in each and every one of us so that we can heal all of our families, all of our communities, and so this doesn't continue to happen. So this is the Women's Warrior song. Yo. Good, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Please feel free to share. This is why I always bank it, and then hopefully I'll get everything on YouTube if I can figure out how to fix my account. But yay! I'm just really thankful to be able to share, and that our teachings are coming back, and that they're helping everyone, not just Indigenous people, but non-Indigenous people. Everybody's in this together, and we have a relationship to maintain with each other. That's what a treaty is. It's a relationship. But we have a responsibility to acknowledge the past so that we can heal from it and move forward. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, but it's important. So, Chilwich, everybody, hi, and I will see you next week.